Welcome to the National Memorial Day Parade, live from Washington, D.C. on Constitution Avenue. Please welcome the 300-voice Memorial Day Festival Chorus under the direction of Cindy Petty.
Where the grapes of wrath are stored, he hath loosed the faithful lightning of his terrible swift sword. His truth is marching on.
It's an annual tradition from Washington, D.C., the American Veterans Center's National Memorial Day Parade. With Grand Marshals, the veterans of World War II, representing all who served and sacrificed on the 70th anniversary of the end of the war. With special celebrity guests, Gary Sinise, Joe Mantegna, celebrity chef and Royal Navy veteran Robert Irvine, plus hundreds of decorated veterans and active duty personnel. With performances by Grammy winners, the Smashing Pumpkins, featuring Billy Corgan and Jeff Schroeder. Miss America 2015, Kira Kazanstev. American Idol Season 13 winner, Caleb Johnson. Special correspondent, Miss America 2008, Kirsten Haglund. All in honor of those who have sacrificed for our freedom. It's coming to you from Constitution Avenue. And now, please welcome your hosts, Paul Berry and Rita Cosby.
Oh, well, what a beautiful day. Good afternoon, everyone, from our nation's capital here on Constitution Avenue in Washington, D.C. for the American Veterans Center's National Memorial Day Parade. And I feel right at home as a Vietnam veteran. I'm in the right place. And my word to you all day is remember. Rita?
Absolutely. It's great to have you with us, Paul. I'm Rita Cosby, and this is a real honor for me to be here today. I'm the daughter of a World War II POW who was rescued by American troops, so this is very special for me. And we would like to welcome all of our viewers at home who are joining us today. They are watching nationwide on Reels, and also, best part of all, our service members who are watching in 175 countries around the world on land and sea on the American Forces Network and online at dodnews.com. Thank you and welcome to all of you.
And you know, this year marks the 10th anniversary of the founding of the National Memorial Day Parade. And more importantly, it marks the 70th anniversary of the greatest generation's greatest day, August 14th, 1945, the very day President Harry Truman announced that Japan had surrendered. And celebrations broke out all across America as the news that World War II was over. Joining us as a Grand Marshal in today's parade will be dozens of surviving World War II veterans, appearing in honor of the more than 400,000 Americans who lost their lives to win the war.
And from the American Revolution to the current generation that has served in Iraq and Afghanistan, today's parade will include a lot of special tributes to the Americans who have served and sacrificed throughout our country's history. And to help us with our coverage, she's going to be with us all day. Streetside is someone who joins us every year, the wonderful former Miss America, Kirsten Haglund. Kirsten.
Good afternoon, everyone. Paul and Rita, hello and welcome. I am honored to be here for my 4th year at the parade. I'm going to be coverage from the route, and we'll be talking to some incredible guests here on Constitution. Back to you, Rita.
And now it's time, folks, to have a parade.
Yeah, and what would a parade be without, I think, one of the greatest supporters ever. Joining us is a friend and longtime supporter of the National Memorial Day Parade. His family is tied to World War I, World War II, and Korea, and we love him. Welcome the great actor and great patriot, Gary Sinise. So great to have you here, Gary.
Gary, you're probably best known as Lieutenant Dan. Whether you want to or not, that was a great role that you played. And of course, NY, New York City, CSI for many years, a great program. But what something makes this mean so much to you? And maybe it's what Rita says, the background, the family, and the love and the care for this country.
Yeah, I think it all starts with my family, of course, like everybody. And I have Vietnam veterans in my family as well. On my wife's side of the family, her 2 brothers served in Vietnam, as well as her brother-in-law, her sister's husband. So I think that's where it all begins with me. And I've been involved with veterans for many years, going back to the late 70s, early 80s. And when this happened 10 years ago, they asked me if I would come and be a part of it. And I've been here every year since. I wouldn't miss it.
Well, they love you here. And you do so much outside of the parade. You do concerts every year. You also have the Gary Sinise Foundation. Tell everybody about that.
Well, the foundation was kind of just an extension of all the different charitable work I've been doing for the military. I used to do all my support work through supporting other military charities. And then it became clear about 4 years ago that I should just start my own military charity. So I started Gary Sinise Foundation. We're doing all kinds of things around the country for veterans, for our wounded, for our Gold Star families, that kind of thing. We can never do enough. We need a lot of these successful charities to be strong, because there's a lot of need within the military community. We all know that.
Absolutely.
Even with all the effort that there is, people still fall through the cracks, and we got to make sure we remember.
Thank you 1,000 times for being with us.
All you
really
do.
Appreciate it. You're wonderful, and we look forward to seeing you every year.
It's my
We
pleasure.
love you, and the veterans love you, Gary. Thank you so much.
My pleasure.
Great to have you with us.
All righty, we have other places to go around here
We
too, don't
do.
we?
Let's go back to the parade. And let's also say a special thank you, by the way, as we're looking at these great shots here. Let's say a special thank you to the American Veterans Center for organizing today's parade.
You know, one of the oldest and most evocative of military traditions in a full honor funeral is that of the riderless horse. The horse is led behind the caisson wearing an empty saddle, with the rider's boots reversed in the stirrups, indicating the warrior will never ride again.
And the riderless horse leads the National Memorial Day Parade annually. What a powerful sight. A reminder of true meaning of this very important holiday.
We welcome the ceremonial honor guard, consisting of marching platoons from each branch of the armed forces. These platoons are under the order of Joint Force Headquarters, National Capital Region, a military district of Washington.
Hello, I'm Major General Jeff Buchanan, Commander of Joint Force Headquarters, National Capital Region, and the U.S. Army Military District of Washington. On behalf of all the men and women in the U.S. Army and the entire Joint Force serving here in the National Capital Region, I'd like to welcome everyone to Washington, D.C. and this year's National Memorial Day Parade. We're proud to represent our nation's military in today's parade as we honor all service members who gave their lives while in service to our nation. I ask that you take a moment to remember all of our soldiers, sailors, airmen, Marines, and Coast Guardsmen and their families stationed around the world. Thank you and enjoy today's parade.
And we salute the Commander of Troops and the Joint Staff.
And joining us in the parade today are platoons from each branch of the American forces, including the United States Army, the Marines, the Navy, the Air Force, and Coast Guard. And as we welcome them to this year's parade, we would like to share a bit of a special Memorial Day message to the parade from the Secretary of Defense, Ashton Carter, who writes, "As we remember the service and sacrifice of previous generations, we recognize that the men and women serving today are as humble, patriotic, and selfless as any generation that has come before. Today and every day we honor them and their families with our heartfelt thanks and support."
The Coast Guard traces its birth date to August 4th, 1790. On that date, President George Washington signed a law that authorized construction of 10 revenue cutters, the beginnings of the modern-day Coast Guard. You can see them there. On August 4th of this year, the United States Coast Guard will celebrate 225 years of history, Paul.
Wow. It's beautiful.
And here is the Army's Old Guard Fife and Drum Corps. I love seeing these guys from the 3rd United States Infantry Regiment. Look how beautiful and how colorful. They are appearing in uniforms patterned after those worn by musicians in General George Washington's Continental Army. Take a listen to them, too.
Big crowd pleasers, as you can see.
Yeah, they're big hits.
The call rang out. Bring up the guns, and the caissons went rolling along. The United States Army Caisson Platoon is charged with the sacred duty of carrying Americans departed to their final resting place in Arlington National Cemetery as part of military full honor funerals for all 5 branches of the Department of Defense as well as for presidents of these United States. And now we are honored to introduce the Grand Marshals of the parade, the Grand Marshals, the veterans of World War II. This year's parade is paying tribute to all who served during World War II, which ended exactly 70 years ago this summer. And today, dozens of surviving veterans of the Second World War are participating in honor of their more than 400,000 comrades in arms who paid the ultimate sacrifice to help win the war.
And you just see him there in the front. Riding with the group is Tony Award-winning actor Joe Mantegna in his white shirt there, currently seen in his starring role in Criminal Minds. Joe has been a great supporter of our military and of the parade, appearing here for the 7th time. What a great patriot.
And now let's head down to the parade route and Kirsten.
Hi, I am here with Colonel Ed Shames and Joe Mantegna. Colonel Shames, you're a veteran of the 101st Airborne Division from D-Day to Germany and also one of the famous Band of Brothers. What do you want Americans to know about the World War II generation?
What I want them to know, they're the greatest people that I've ever known in my life. I wish a lot of them were still here with me. I feel honored to be here. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Colonel, for being here. And Joe Mantegna, this is so important for you. You've had many family members who've served, including your Uncle Willie, who's been at the parade with us. What does this day mean to you to be there in honor of your family?
Once again, it's the most important holiday we celebrate in this country. And to be here with a hero like Ed here, representing not just this country, but representing all my uncles who fought in that war. God bless them. That's why we're able to have such a beautiful day in such a beautiful city and such a beautiful country.
Absolutely. Thank you both so much. And Colonel, thank you for your service. Thank you both. Have a wonderful parade. All right. Thank you, gentlemen. And back to you, Paul and Rita.
Kirsten, thanks so much, and so great to have Colonel Shames and Joe Mantegna here. Now, among the veterans with us today are a cross-section of some of the most acclaimed battles and units in American history. We welcome veterans of D-Day, Iwo Jima and the Battle of the Bulge, as well as the legendary Tuskegee Airmen, Band of Brothers, Montford Point Marines, and all the Japanese-American 442nd Regimental Combat Team.
Wow. So many wonderful people here. This Grand Marshal, the Grand Marshals of this parade, year's parade, the veterans of World War II, we cannot and we will not forget what their generation did for all of us 70 years ago. Thank you, thank you, thank you. It's the hometown band right here from Washington, D.C. Here comes the Frank W. Ballou Majestic Marching Knights.
Hello, I am Clarinet Captain Shawnquinette Davis.
And I am sousaphone Captain Ivan Thornton.
We are proud to be representing the nation's capital in this honorable parade.
We are an award-winning band that uses hard work, discipline, and compassion to overcome any and all obstacles.
Today marks our 10th consecutive appearance in the National Memorial Day Parade.
Let us never forget the fallen as we salute them today.
This next group is proud to serve and protect in our nation's capital. The United States Park Police horse-mounted unit was established back in 1934 and is one of America's oldest police equestrian organizations in the United States. These dedicated officers are assigned to major demonstrations and special events in Washington, D.C. to maintain order, to protect, and to serve. And serve they do, Rita.
They sure do, and officers are assigned to federal parks in Washington, D.C., New York City, and San Francisco within the National Park Service.
Got to keep those horses in order.
Yeah, I was going to say, you got to keep them in line.
And speaking of horses, here comes the latest military vehicle from Oshkosh Defense. It's called the LATV. Now, the LATV represents the next generation in light military vehicles. That's light?
Yeah, I was going to say that's light. Well, they sure look happy, at least. Oshkosh is honored and privileged to continue to provide our nation's heroes with the best in technical performance and also protection.
You know, for the past 20 years, there's been one place in America where grieving military families find help, hope, and healing. The Tragedy Assistance Program for Survivors, otherwise known as TAPS, is America's only nonprofit veteran service organization chartered to assist anyone grieving the death of a loved one in military service to America.
And TAPS has been recognized as the frontline resource for compassionate care, providing peer-based emotional support to military families. They do a great job. And
riding on the float to help spotlight TAPS is Chef Robert Irvine. You will recognize him from Celebrity Food Network chef and the host of Restaurant Impossible. And what you might not know, he's also a veteran of the British Royal Navy and a tireless supporter of our military and our first responders. Thanks to him.
And we'll be back for more coverage of the National Memorial Day Parade. Rita Cosby and Paul Berry back right after this.
Coming up, the parade begins a moving timeline of American military history. And later, performances from the Smashing Pumpkins and Miss America.
Yeah. Yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We're here with David.
Oh, the joy of a beautiful day, a beautiful parade, sitting next to a beautiful woman. It couldn't get any better than this. Welcome back to Constitution Avenue. I'm Paul Berry, along with Rita Cosby, and we're here at the American Veterans Center's National Memorial Day Parade.
And a special thank you. He's not too bad looking either. Anyway, thank you to Johnson's Florists for making us all look beautiful. The Johnson's Florists and Garden Centers, they provided these beautiful, fresh floral arrangements that are making both of us look good here in the booth. Today's parade is also organized as a moving timeline of American military history, honoring fallen heroes from our beginnings all the way through the current generation that has served in Afghanistan and Iraq. And let's head back now, street side, to the wonderful Kirsten Haglin. Kirsten.
Thank you, Rita. We begin with a timeline of our parade as we salute the heroes of the American Revolution. For more than 230 years, the story of George Washington's leadership through the War of Independence has inspired generation after generation of Americans. All right, and now I am here with David Walker. He's from the Coalition to Salute America's Heroes. David, tell us about the Coalition.
The Coalition is a wonderful nonprofit. Today, men and women are calling in and using words like foreclose and evict. Provide emergency aid. And what it does is it helps so that we don't hear another set of words like suicide.
And so I understand that you have a very special presentation to make today.
We do. Lovely family, Aaron, Kathleen, and their lovely daughter, AJ. Wonderful, beautiful family from Birmingham, Alabama. They are building a home on their own initiative. They have their own fund, and we are presenting a check for $5,000 for that fund.
So much to us. We couldn't do this without you.
Thank you so much, David. Thank you, Coalition to Salute America's Heroes, and all of you for your incredible service. Congratulations. All right, back to you, Paul and Rita.
Kirsten, thanks so much, and a big shout out to Dave. How wonderful was that?
Yeah.
And now you are watching George and Martha Washington. They are joining us today thanks to the support of Fundraising Strategies. For more than 40 years, Fundraising Strategies has proudly served our nation's military. And they look pretty good for their age, George and Marshall Washington.
Absolutely. Look, he's still very spirited.
Well preserved.
George Washington traveled 16 miles from his beloved home at Mount Vernon to be here today. George Washington's Mount Vernon, as you probably know, is the most popular historic site in America, and it welcomes guests 365 days a year. So plan it. Make a trip there. You won't be sorry at all. Come to Mount Vernon and discover why George Washington was undeniably first in war, first in peace, and first in the hearts of his countrymen everywhere.
And the flag coming down the street is a replica of the Bennington flag. The actual relic flag is on display in Bennington, Vermont.
It measures 15 by 20 feet and is among the most distinctive flags of the Revolutionary period. It has 13 white and red stripes and an arch of 11 six-pointed stars with 2 additional stars in the upper corners. Within the arch is the number 76, referring to the year that the Declaration of Independence was adopted. And now, let's head down to Kirsten again.
Thanks, Paul. I am here with UK veteran and famous Food Network chef Robert Irvine. So, hi, Robert. You're best known as a chef on Restaurant Impossible, but you're also very passionate about our military and first responders. Why is that?
You know, we spend about 150 days a year on the road with our military. I'm a former service member myself and truly believe that when we were in Afghanistan in 2013, General Robert Irvine said to me, don't let the public forget. And that's my goal in life, is to make sure that they know what our men and women do it every day around the world to keep us free.
Absolutely. And I hear that you have started a foundation to support military heroes. Tell us about its work.
For many years, Gary Sinise and I have worked together on the Invincible Spirit Festivals and all these great things that we do, and I've supported his foundation. Last year, I started the Robert Irvine Foundation that gives back to military families to make sure that their hardships are taken care of, and they need trips. That's what we do.
Incredible. Thank you so much, Chef Irvine. Back to you, Paul and Rita.
Thanks so much. And our next float is sponsored by the Purple Heart Foundation. The Purple Heart Medal is the oldest active duty military decoration in the United States today. Their mission is to serve the needs of the men and women of our armed forces and provide assistance with VA claims processing, post-traumatic stress, and traumatic brain injury.
And it's just beautiful behind us, as you can see the float and the many people. The foundation is honored to serve all veterans and their families and is a proud supporter of this parade to our military. For more information on ways you can help, please go to purpleheartfoundation.org. And appearing with him is one of the strongest supporters of our military in Hollywood. The man was just here, Gary Sinise, appearing in his 10th straight National Memorial Day Parade, folks. He's riding with our honorary Grand Marshals. These are wounded warriors from the conflicts in Afghanistan and Iraq. And we are honored to have Gary with us, and most especially honored to welcome these recipients of the Purple Heart. And while we honor those who have served and are serving around the world, today we must remember the true meaning of Memorial Day, paying tribute to those we have lost.
And throughout today's parade, we will spotlight the stories of several service members who lost their lives in service to our country in a series that we call Saluting the Fallen.
One, two, three, 1, 2, 3. Check, check, check. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Bye. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Check, check, check. Does he have it?
Test, test, test. From ISIS to supporting relief in Nepal, the Air Force is active in operations around the world. What do Americans at home need to know about the sacrifices made by airmen and women every day?
And welcome back to our live coverage from Washington, D.C. of the American Veterans Center's National Memorial Day Parade.
And we would like to thank Leidos, a leading national security, health, and engineering company, for being one of the sponsors who provided lunch to more than 1,000 active duty personnel troops prior to today's parade. And now, I didn't get one either. Wait a minute. But now let's head to Kirsten. Maybe she got one.
Thank you, Rita. I didn't get one either, but thank you. The parade will continue with our coverage and remembrance of the War of 1812. After watching the Americans withstand the deadly British siege of Baltimore, Francis Scott Key was inspired to write the poem Defense of Fort McHenry. Today, it is better known as the Star-Spangled Banner. And now I am here with General Mark Welsh. He is the Chief of Staff of the U.S. Air Force and one of our reviewing officials today. General, there are Air Force men and women involved in operations around the world, from fighting ISIS to relief in Nepal. What would you like Americans to know about the sacrifices our airmen and women make every day?
Oh, I think mostly I'd like them to know how proud they are to do what they do, how proud they are of each other, how proud they are to represent this great nation and its citizens, and how incredibly good they are at their job.
Thank you so much. And what message do you have for those serving all over the world today?
No, just we hope they all get home safely and soon, and we'll take care of your family until you get back.
All right. Well, thank you so much, General. You're a tremendous hero. We thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
All right. Back to you, Paul and Rita.
Kirsten, thanks so much. The next section of the parade is arriving as the National Memorial Day Parade honors those who sacrificed the Civil War. This year marks the 150th anniversary of the end of the war.
With malice toward none, with charity for all, with firmness in the right, as God gives us to see the right, let us strive on to finish the work we are in, to bind up the nation's wounds.
And those are the words that were so eloquently spoken by Abraham Lincoln during his second inaugural address, and demonstrate his devotion toward healing our nation so shattered by war. Whitney Lester is appearing as President Abraham Lincoln, our 16th president. Please welcome female reenactors of distinction from the African American Civil War Museum, known as FREED, located right here in Washington, D.C. They honor America's women of the Civil War era who reinforce the quality of life that each of us enjoys today. They have participated in the parade since 2007. And leading this next contingent are members from the Sons of Union, veterans of the Civil War. They are portraying Lieutenant General Ulysses S. Grant, Major General George G. Meade, and Major General Philip H. Sheridan. And now let's go street side to Kirsten Haglund.
Thank you, Rita. I have the pleasure of being here with Admiral Paul Zukunft. He's the Commandant of the U.S. Coast Guard. All right, thank you so much for being here today. August 4th marks the 225th birthday of the U.S. Coast Guard. What does the Coast Guard have planned to commemorate this incredible event?
Something almost to rival today's parade. In Grand Haven, Michigan, there will be a huge celebration. New London, Connecticut, the birthplace of our Coast Guard Academy, another big celebration. We just had one in Cape May, New Jersey. We have over a dozen communities throughout the country that call themselves Coast Guard cities, and they are rolling out the red carpet as we celebrate our 225th birthday this year.
That is absolutely incredible. And as we celebrate the Coast Guard's past, what should we expect for the future?
We'll be around another 225 years. Honestly, the men and women who serve the Coast Guard today is the 38th year that I've served in the Coast Guard, my anniversary. The men and women that volunteer to serve our Coast Guard today, the best I have ever seen in my career. I could not be more optimistic about the next 225 years.
Wow, well, we'll be cheering for you for the next 200, 325 years. Thank you so much. Happy Memorial Day. Back to you, Paul and Rita.
Kirsten, thanks so much. And there it is, the American Spirit, the Wells Fargo Stagecoach with David Helmuth. For 160 years, the famous Stagecoach has represented Wells Fargo's dedication to serving their customers and the communities they share. It's the living expression of Wells Fargo's brand essence, working together, and a monument of America's history of linking East and West. Wells Fargo is a proud sponsor of the National Memorial Day Parade. And to learn more about how Wells Fargo support our military and our veterans, please visit wellsfargo.com/veterans. And please welcome the Greater Washington, D.C.'s oldest and largest nonprofit provider of hospice and palliative care, Capital Caring. Joining us today are some of Capital Caring's families and representatives of the organization's more than 800 volunteers who help support care to over 1,200 people each day living with serious illness.
Capital Caring is walking in honor of their hero patients and families who have served in the American Armed Forces.
And we'll be back with more of the National Memorial Day Parade right after this.
Parade moves into the 20th century, and performances by the Smashing Pumpkins, American Idol winner Caleb Johnson, and Miss America.
Truly enjoy.
And we also want to give a really great special thank you to our sponsors, Starting Tribes. From that year, we've got the Chamber Rough Riders, a civic social organization based in Tampa, Florida. The first U.S. volunteer cavalry regiment, Rough Riders, was formed in 1978 to provide a living memorial to Colonel Teddy Roosevelt and his young volunteer regiment. Marching in review, I am Black Clay, the Henry Ford True High School Mountain Marching Band from the state of Michigan. The band is under the direction of Matt Shainer.
Schools are the unit of community schools, the second largest school district in the state for the past 2 years.
And welcome back to Washington, D.C. I'm Rita Cosby here along with Paul Berry.
Yes, indeed. With us next is one of rock music's most iconic bands of the last quarter century. They've been nominated for 10 Grammys, winning twice, along with countless other awards. Here to perform drum and fife off of their new album, Moments, Monuments to an Elegy, are Billy Corgan and Jeff Schroeder, the Smashing Pumpkins.
Yeah.
Wayfound dream, you gotta listen now to me. No rules or in betweens. You gotta listen now to me. Waste all your time, find another kind of boy. Wow, a fate's up on the line, a phantom I don't care to own. Come on along on an eastern shore. Come on along, you're mine. Come on along on a winter's morn. Come on along, you're mine. racing scene, sing to break this beast with need. 'Cause I will bang this drum till my dying day. In my affection June, you gotta listen now to me. What's done, what's left as room. You gotta listen now to me. Come on along on a winter's morn. Come on along, your mind. Come on along on an eastern shore. Come on along, your mind. Your mind. Inside the drum and vibe steam, racing scene to scene to break this beast with need, to remedy what's been blatant. 'Cause I will bang this drum till my dying. I will bang this drum till my dying. I will bang this drum till my dying day. 'Cause I will bang this drum till my dying. Don't you ever be afraid. Don't you ever be afraid. Don't you ever be afraid. No more, no more, no more. 'Cause I will bang this drum till my dying. Don't you ever be afraid. 'Cause I will bang this drum till my dying. I will bang this drum till my dying. I will bang this drum till my dying day. 'Cause I will bang this drum.
And a special thank you to the Smashing Pumpkins. Boy, were they great.
Really are. And about, a year and a half after the end of the Civil War, an act of Congress authorized the formation of the 9th and 10th Infantry Regiments, 2 all-black peacetime units known as the Buffalo Soldiers. They served in the harshest conditions, but served with distinction, displaying valor in every theater, earning 14 Medals of Honor during the Indian Wars. With us today are members from the Greater Washington, D.C. chapter. Congratulations to them.
And everybody stay with us. We'll be back with more parade coverage.
The famous Idaho Potato Tour started in 2012 to commemorate the 75th anniversary of the Idaho Potato Commission, and it quickly became the People's Run, to which the truck and the tater team have now visited thousands of cities, hundreds of thousands of people, all throughout the U.S.
The Baker Veterans of America originated in 1992 in order to describe the individuals who lost their lives in the attack on forebears in Lebanon in 1983 are not forgotten. The suicide bombing of Paris resulted in the loss of 241 military personnel. Also in the group today are individuals associated with military activities in Canada, as well as the bombing that same year.
Here in Washington, the national moment of remembrance established by Congress asked that all Americans, wherever they are at 3 o'clock local time on this day, to pause in an act of national unity.
And right now, the National Memorial Day Parade will participate in that moment, coming to a complete stop for 1 minute, while taps will be played in honor of all those who have sacrificed their lives. Wherever you are, we ask that you join us in this moment.
Amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me. I once was lost, but now I'm found, was blind, but now I see. Through many dangers, toils, and snares, I have already come. 'Tis grace hath brought me safe thus far, and grace will lead me home, and grace will lead me home.
Absolutely beautiful, just beautiful. That was sung by Chief Musician John Schrader, played the taps. He's a member of the United States Navy Band.
And singing also Amazing Grace, that beautiful rendition, was Master Sergeant Antonio Giuliano from the United States Army Chorus. And the National Memorial Day Parade, of course, honors those who served in the Great War, World War II. This section of the parade is brought to you by military.com. And actually, we're looking at images of World War I, rather. Forgive me that.
More than 116,000 Americans died in service during the First World War, in what all hope would be the war to end all wars. Though Europe prayed for lasting peace, lingering resentments led to the rise of Nazi Germany and an even more devastating war 20 years later.
Now I'm here on the parade route with Jason Parsons of Capital Caring. Jason, what is Capital Caring?
We're a nonprofit organization that serves the greater Washington, D.C. area. We care for folks who are seriously ill regardless of their ability to pay wherever they call home.
And obviously Memorial Day must be very important to you at Capital Caring. Why so, and all of the people that you help?
Well, our roots run so deep here in the Washington community. We've been here for 40 years in and around Washington, D.C. We care for scores of veterans each and every year. And it's really important to us to take the time to honor their service and their sacrifice, particularly when they're older, at the end of life, when they're ill, to make sure they can make the most of every moment with their family. And we take a lot of time to thank them for their service, to honor them with these pinning ceremonies that we do. So it's profoundly important to us. And we say, not only are we Capital Caring, but you are nation's Capital Caring.
Wow, that's absolutely incredible. Thank you so much for the great work you do and all that you do for our heroes. All right, back to you, Paul and Rita.
Thank you, Kirsten. Representing the era of World War I is the United States World War I Centennial Commission. Commission Chair Rob D'Alessandro is riding in a beautiful, completely restored by volunteers, 1918 Packard Liberty truck, driven by owner Dave Lockwood. The Packard Motor Car Company made about 10,000 of these trucks for the U.S. Army back then.
And the Centennial Commission was set up by Congress to educate the public about the sacrifices of Americans during the war 100 years ago. Marching alongside are members of the Young Marines High School ROTC program.
And from the state of Pennsylvania, please welcome the Gateway High School Marching Band.
And I am Drum Major Allie Kick. Today we proudly march in the World War I section of the parade as we honor the more than 100,000 Americans who paid the ultimate sacrifice during that war.
We are honorably making our second appearance in this parade.
On Memorial Day, may we always remember what this day is all about.
Honoring the fallen and saluting the living.
This next float comes to us from the Lions Clubs of Washington, D.C., Delaware, Maryland, and Virginia. And this is their 7th year participating in our parade. Lions Clubs International is the world's largest service club organization with more than 1.4 million members representing approximately 46,000 clubs in more than 210 countries and geographical areas around the world.
Their float proudly displays the theme, Strengthen the Pride, to represent the goal of Lions worldwide. Accompanying the float are the marching Lions and veterans from over 150 local Lions clubs. And also riding in the float, there she is our current Miss America, Kira Kazanstev. She will now perform God Bless America.
We now continue our very special tribute as the National Memorial Day Parade honors those who have served in World War II. More than 16 million Americans served, while more than 400,000 died, making it truly the defining moment of the 20th century. This portion of the parade is sponsored by Geico.
A special thank you to Geico. Since its founding in 1936, Geico has proudly served those who serve. They are honored to support this year's National Memorial Day Parade, as they have done. Thank you so much to Geico. Now, I am here with Vice Chief of Naval Operations, Admiral Michelle Howard. What does Memorial Day mean to you?
Oh, it's a great opportunity for us to remember our sailors, airmen, soldiers, Coast Guard men who've gone before us and have helped make this country free, and them and their families, particularly those veterans who gave the ultimate sacrifice.
And what do you want Americans to think about on this Memorial Day?
For us, we have sailors that are throughout the country. I know people tend to think of us as being by the seas, but if they could find that sailor out and thank them for their service, that'd be great.
Absolutely, and thank you for your service.
Thank you, Kristen.
All right, back to you, Paul and Rita.
Thank you, Kirsten. Well, established in 1982, ROC Veteran Association of Greater Washington is one of the biggest Chinese community organizations in the Washington area, with more than 400 members. All of them are veterans of the Republic of China, Taiwan, and include many high-ranking generals who joined U.S. forces in World War II.
The association actively participates in many activities with other veterans groups to promote events in the Chinese community. And next we have a message from Ambassador Xian, representative from the Taipei Economic and Cultural Representative Office in these United States.
We, the children of the World War II Chinese veterans from Taiwan, are honored to present this P-40 model. The real fighter airplane was used by American flyers during the war to help Chiang Kai-shek government fight the Japanese invaders. Originally, the Americans came as volunteers, but after Pearl Harbor, the group was expanded into a formidable U.S. 14th Air Force. Chiang Kai-shek government built a small and young air force before the war. Since the arrival of the American flyers, they shut down 2,600 enemy airplanes. Millions of Chinese civilian lives were saved. The wartime Chinese people nicknamed them Flying Tigers under the command of only one general, General Claire Chennault. He also helped train our Air Force pilots. A lot of them later came to Taiwan and built our Air Force patterned after the Flying Tigers. The story of Flying Tiger is still long remembered by the people of Taiwan.
From Central Florida now, here comes the Mulberry High School Panther Band.
Hi, I'm Drum Major Raymond Woodruff.
And I'm Drum Major Joseph Lewis.
Today marks our first appearance in this parade.
We are humbled to be marching in the World War II segment as we salute the greatest generation.
It was a war where nearly 500,000 Americans gave their lives for our country.
We salute the men and women of World War II. May you never be forgotten.
And today, U-Haul continues its support of our veterans and troops by showcasing the 5 branches of our armed services on the sides of the U-Haul trucks: Navy, Air Force, Army, Marines, and Coast Guard.
U-Haul is committed to serving our veterans by giving them priority in their hiring process. U-Haul is once again honored to be a sponsor of the parade and to be able to remind the public about the true meaning of Memorial Day, to honor and remember all of the men and women who have given so selflessly for our freedom, and to honor the families they left behind. When the National World War II Memorial was dedicated in 2004, the American Veterans Center helped organize a parade in honor of those veterans who were able to attend the ceremonies.
And it was out of that parade that the National Memorial Day Parade grew, leading this salute to our greatest generation, our flags representing the original Allied nations of World War II.
Next up, we are proud to welcome Dr. E. Bruce Heilman, the Chancellor of the University of Richmond. He's accompanied by a contingent of the American Legion Riders from Post 186 in Richmond, Virginia.
Dr. Heilman, who was an 18-year-old Marine fighting in the invasion of the island of Okinawa, Japan, 70 years ago, just completed a month-long 6,000-mile solo motorcycle ride to the West Coast and back to honor the memory of the more than 14,000 Americans who died during what was the final ground battle of World War II.
Keep the spirit of 45 alive brings us the 70th anniversary of the Greatest Generation's Greatest Day commemoration float. It features a sculpture by the acclaimed artist Seward Johnson that depicts the famous Times Square kiss, there it is, by a sailor and a nurse on August 14th, 1945. The kiss has become, of course, an enduring symbol of the spirit of a generation.
Yeah, we remember that. We see it. We keep the spirit of 45 alive as a grassroots coalition of organizations and individuals that are organizing events and activities to commemorating the 70th anniversary of the end of World War II that will take place on the weekend of August 14th, 15th, 16th of this year. Each year on Memorial Day, youth come to our nation's capital to march in the parade with photos of some of the more than 400,000 Americans who gave their lives to free millions of people from oppression in more than 50 countries during World War II.
Honored today are the 266 posthumous recipients of the Medal of Honor, including members of the all-Japanese American fighting units, the original Flying Tiger pilots, who died fighting to defend the people of China, the 66 Tuskegee Airmen who died defending bombers over Europe, and others who made the ultimate sacrifice in service to our country during World War II. Connecting today's young Americans to the stories of those who sacrificed in generations before is a major purpose of the National Memorial Day Parade.
We'll be back with more of our parade coverage after this.
Coming up live, we honor the fallen of the Korean and Vietnam Wars. And American Idol winner Caleb Johnson joins the parade.
Thank you, President Bush. We endorse those words. The we being Rita Cosby and Paul Berry, your hosts today. We're very pleased to be with you, and we hope you're enjoying this. We'd also like to thank the following sponsors for their support of the parade. That would be Safeway, Stars and Stripes, the official print sponsor. You've got a few?
Yeah, we definitely do. We have a whole bunch more. Events DC, the official convention and sports authority for the District of Columbia, Leidos also, and the National Rifle Association, the Kimsey Foundation, and Amtrak. And now let's continue with more of the parade.
More than 36,000 Americans died during service in the Korean War, often called the Forgotten War. Today, veterans refer to Korea as the Forgotten Victory, as South Korea has become one of Asia's great economic and political successes.
The Korean War began 65 years ago this summer when, on June 25, 1950, North Korean forces invaded the South. Fighting continued for more than 3 years. U.S. forces in Korea displayed countless acts of valor. To date, 146 Americans who served in Korea have been awarded our nation's highest award, the Medal of Honor.
And, of course, leading this tribute to the Korean War generation is a Motor V of military vehicles from the World War II and Korean War eras. Riding with them are three distinguished veterans of the Korean War: Sergeant Major Ray Moran, Sergeant Leslie Kumte, and First Sergeant Boris Spiroff. We are honored to have them with us and salute all who have served and sacrificed in Korea.
The Sergeant Reckless Memorial Fund is a nonprofit dedicated to raising money and building monuments honoring the great Korean war horse hero, Sergeant Reckless. A horse so heroic, she is listed in Life magazine as one of America's all-time greatest heroes.
That's right. During the Battle for Outpost Vegas in March 1953, on one day alone, Reckless made 51 trips to the firing sites, most of the time alone. She was later awarded 2 Purple Hearts. As the folks at the Sergeant Reckless Memorial Fund like to say, she wasn't a horse, folks. She's a Marine. From Mechanicsburg, Pennsylvania, here come the Cumberland Valley High School Marching Band.
Hi, I'm the Drum Major Casey Donor.
And I am Woodwind Captain Ben Smith.
Today we have the privilege of marching in the Korean War segment of the parade.
More than 150,000 U.S. soldiers were either wounded or paid the ultimate sacrifice in this 3-year war.
The Korean War Memorial here in Washington, D.C. is a must-see when visiting our nation's capital.
Please enjoy our performance of John Philip Sousa's Semper Fidelis.
As we continue, the National Memorial Day Parade pays tribute to those who served in Vietnam.
Please welcome the Honorary Marshal representing the heroes of Vietnam, Brigadier General R. Steve Ritchie.
General Ritchie is the only Air Force ace pilot of the Vietnam War, shooting down 5 enemy jets. He is the recipient of numerous awards, including the Air Force Cross, second only to the Medal of Honor. And let's head back to Constitution Avenue and Kirsten.
Thanks, Rita. I'm here with Chris Melendez. Chris, you've got an incredible story. You're a wounded warrior, but now a professional wrestler. So why don't you start by telling us about your time in Iraq and how you were wounded?
Well, while serving in Baghdad, I served with the 4th Infantry Division. It was just 23 days left till I was returning home, and I was struck with an IED, a roadside bomb, which resulted in the loss of my left leg. I nearly lost my arm, my jaw, various injuries.
Oh my goodness. But, you know, you go from surviving, being severely wounded in combat, and losing a leg to becoming a star in professional wrestling. How did that come about?
That's right. It's always been a childhood dream of mine. I wanted to serve my country, and I wanted to be a professional wrestler. And after I got hurt, I didn't let that stop me. I used that same motivation that I had while serving in the infantry, and I applied that towards getting into the ring and doing what I do.
Wow, absolutely incredible. Thank you so much for your service.
Thank you so much. You can watch me live on Wednesday nights beginning June 3rd, Destination America, Impact Wrestling.
Awesome. Thanks so much, Chris. Back to you, Paul and Rita.
Kirsten, thanks so much. Well, the next float comes to you from USBA. They have been proudly serving our country's military personnel and veterans with affordable life insurance since 1959. Caring about their members is their #1 priority, as evidenced in their tagline, armed with compassion, dedicated to service.
And USBA is honoring all those soldiers and their families who made the ultimate sacrifice for their country with a special and very moving video. That message can be found at usba.com/remember.
And riding on the float is someone you may recognize. There he is. It's the winner of last season's American Idol, Caleb Johnson. The North Carolina native has already electrified audiences of millions with his commanding vocals and fiery energy. Here to sing Fighting Gravity is Caleb Johnson.
Patiently, I'll wait for you, drifting by the dark side of the moon, breaking me, your shadow proof. How can you forget what we've been through? So dark when we've lost our way, way out here in outer space. The memories are all I save tonight. You flew me to the highest heights, never thought you would ever quit on me. And I can't stop falling, there's no fighting gravity. Whoa. And I'm crashing through the atmosphere. Without you I'm gasping, it's hard to breathe. And I keep on falling, there's no fighting gravity. Patiently discovering you, all the things you ever wanted to.
Wow, he sounded great.
He sure did. Thank you, Caleb. We'll be back with more coverage. But first, another salute the fallen video.
Lost or stolen military parts of valor, and they return them to veterans or their families in order to honor your sacrifice to the nation. And so far, they've returned over 150 medals today. 3 to 5 lost medals arrive at their foundation weekly from all over the country. The foundation has found over 200 lost medals of valor that they're trying to find a home for. And I want you to give a great extra special salute to Captain Zechariah. Right, he's done a great job. We've got a lot of Purple Heart medal honor winners on that great float. They do a terrific job. And now we're at the portion that we were honoring all of those who served in Operation Desert Storm.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, riding on the float is Miss DC 2014, as well as American recording artist. From Memphis, Tennessee, Bo Davidson, singing a patriotic medley.
And I'm Rita Cosby here with Paul Berry. Welcome back to Washington, D.C. and the 2015 National Memorial Day Parade.
We hope you're enjoying as much as we are. What a great day, what a great parade. And now the National Memorial Day Parade salutes those who served in today's military.
Saab salutes today's military. America's veterans have made great sacrifices to secure the freedom of our nation and our citizens. Saab Defense and Security USA is proud to honor their service. The mission of the Purple Hearts Reunited is to return lost or stolen military medals of valor to veterans or their families in order to honor their sacrifice to the nation. They have returned over 150 medals to date. 3 to 5 lost medals arrive at the foundation weekly from all over the country, and the foundation currently has more than 200 lost medals of valor that they're trying to find a home for. For more information, visit purpleheartsreunited.org.
And riding on the float is Teresa Davis, Miss DC 2014, as well as American recording artist Bo Davidson, who was singing a patriotic medley. Let's listen.
America, God shed His grace on thee and crown thy good with brotherhood from sea to shining sea.
And thanks to Bo Davidson, the parade's official airline is American Airlines. There you see them. It's also a presenting sponsor of Snowball Express, the nonprofit organization created to provide hope and new memories for the children of military fallen heroes who have died while on active duty since 9/11.
And sadly, Air Force Special Agent Thomas Kroll was killed in action in Iraq on November 1st, 2007. Today we are honored to have his family riding in the parade, his wife Carol and his son Eric and Ian. His son Ian is celebrating his 10th birthday today. Happy birthday, Ian.
And the next float commemorates the 24th anniversary of the Gulf War and is brought to us by the great state of Kuwait.
And on behalf of the people of Kuwait, we have the following message from the ambassador of the United States, Ambassador El Sabah.
The very special relationship between Kuwait and the U.S. Armed Forces was forged and actually cemented during the first Gulf War. In 1990 and 91, we Kuwaitis watched in amazement and admiration as the U.S. Armed Forces put themselves in harm's way to liberate my country. And ever since that day, we've had a very special place in our hearts and our minds for the U.S. Armed Forces. And that's why we are present at Memorial Day with our float, and we will always be there to say thank you.
And now let's go back to Kirsten Haglund, who's streetside. Kirsten.
Thank you, Rita. I am here with a special guest of American Airlines, Tina Hills. Tina, I know you're battling cancer, and as a service member, what does Memorial Day mean to you?
Memorial Day is a very special day for me and for my husband and family. I have multiple generations that have all served, and all of us have lost somebody that has served in the military, and it's just that day to remember those that we forgot or that have fallen and are gone, and we never want to forget who they were.
And sometimes people forget about the family members of our servicemen and women. What sacrifices do they make?
In my situation, my husband and my son have sacrificed so much. My husband quit his job to take care of me full-time and be my full-time caretaker. And my son has given up so much to help me as I've gone through treatments and whatnot. So family members give up so much. They give everything to their service members, whether they're injured or not. When a service member deploys, they have to keep moving on in life, and they just pick up, and then they begin all over again when you come back.
Wow, incredible. Thank you so much. All right, we'll be back with more live coverage of the National Memorial Day Parade from D.C. right after this.
And welcome back to the National Memorial Day Parade. I'm Rita Cosby, along with Paul Berry. We would also like to thank Jersey Mike's for providing lunch for all of the troops prior to today's parade. We would also like to thank them for their support of Wreaths Across America, honoring our fallen heroes.
All right, now we head back to Constitution Avenue. Lots going on right here, boy. It sounds so good. Please welcome the 257th Army Band, the band of the nation's capital, which is a unit of the District of Columbia's Army National Guard. The band performed for the inauguration of President Obama and has traveled to Greece, Jamaica, the U.S. Virgin Islands, and Panama.
The band has also made concert tours throughout New England, Texas, and the Mid-Atlantic.
And now for the parade's grand finale, led by active duty service personnel from the U.S., Marine Corps, U.S. Air Force, Army National Guard of the United States, Army Reserves, and the Naval Reserves.
We are especially proud and honored to welcome home many of these troops who have just returned from deployment overseas.
These soldiers and sailors and airmen are marching today in honor of the more than 6,700 service members who have died while serving in Afghanistan, Iraq, and current operations around the world.
Participating in today's parade are upwards of 1,000 active duty personnel, each of whom has given their time on this holiday to be with us to pay tribute to our fallen heroes. And stay with us. We'll be right back.
We'll be back for more parade live from Constitution Avenue in Washington, D.C.
And welcome back to our live coverage of the National Memorial Day Parade. What a day. What a great opportunity.
It has been fabulous, and let's go back to the parade route.
From the great state of Tennessee, here comes the Liberty Technology Crusader Band. We thank you all for watching today, and Rita, it's been a pleasure working with you. It's been an incredible day with lots of inspirational stories. We'd like to thank all of the veteran parade marchers and volunteers.
Absolutely, it's been fabulous. A special thank you to the American Veteran Center and all our sponsors. Kirsten?
It's been a day of reflection and remembering. As always, I was honored to be here. Back to you.
To those of you serving in harm's way, stay safe, and thank you for your service.
Happy Memorial Day. We'll see you next year. Goodbye, everybody.